Listen closely, because the next words may stay with you long after this moment. Close your eyes for a second. Breathe. Let the world pause. Because I want you to know something with the certainty of the sunrise. Your waiting season is not wasted. Everything you endured prepared you. Every delay that frustrated you. Every prayer that seemed unanswered. Every door that closed when you needed it to open. None of it was meaningless. You may not realize it yet, but life has been shaping you in the quiet, polishing you when nobody was watching, strengthening you behind the curtain so that when the moment finally comes, you don't just receive the blessing, you're ready to hold it without breaking. Think of the seed beneath the soil. For weeks, nothing happens, no movement, no signs, no proof that anything is working. But underground, the seed is cracking, roots are stretching, strength is being formed. If someone saw that seed on day 1, they would say, it's doing nothing. But on day 20, it breaks the soil. Suddenly, the world sees what was secretly happening all along. That is you. Your roots were growing in silence. Your strength was forming in darkness, and now your season is preparing to break open. Sometimes life takes you the long way because the short way would have broken you. Imagine a person learning to drive. If you throw them instantly onto the highway, fear will overwhelm them. So they start small, quiet roads, empty streets, slow turns. It feels boring, it feels unnecessary. But those slow, silent lessons keep them alive when the traffic gets heavy. You have been driving on your quiet roads. Your slow season wasn't punishment, it was training. When your highway moment comes, the big opportunity, the life-changing news, the door that swings open, you will know how to steer, how to navigate, how to stay calm, how to move with confidence. The slow road taught you what the fast road would never give you. Think about heartbreak, the kind that shatters you so deeply you feel like you'll never be whole again. You cry, you question, you beg for closure that never arrives. But months later, someone enters your life and treats you with a kindness you didn't even know existed. Suddenly, you understand why the pain had to happen. That heartbreak wasn't the end. It was the introduction to a better beginning. The people who left taught you what loyalty looks like. The people who betrayed you taught you what honesty feels like. The people who broke you taught you how to protect your peace. The waiting season of loneliness wasn't a punishment. It was building the strength to recognize what real love looks like when it finally arrives. Think of a person trying to get a job. They apply everywhere. Rejections pile like bricks. Emails saying, unfortunately, interviews that go nowhere, opportunities that slip through their fingers. They start believing something is wrong with them. But what they don't see is that the job they ain't really deserve is still being prepared. A hiring freeze lifts. A position opens, a manager retires, a team restructures. Then suddenly, everything aligns. The job that fits their skills, respects their worth, and values their personality shows up. In that moment, every rejection becomes a redirection. Life wasn't saying no, it was saying, not that, something better. Even in friendships, waiting shapes you. You may wonder why you don't fit in certain groups, why people drift away, why you end up alone at times. But later, when you find the people who celebrate you, who understand your soul, who lift you without asking for anything in return, you realize the waiting was necessary. Those lonely nights taught you independence. Those silent seasons taught you how to enjoy your own company. Those empty circles made space for the right ones to enter. The waiting wasn't wasted, it was making room. When a diamond is being formed, nobody celebrates. Nobody claps for the pressure, the heat, the darkness. But without those exact conditions, the diamond stays a piece of coal. That pressure you felt, the responsibilities, the expectations, the struggles you survived, wasn't there to destroy you. It was there to transform you. Every challenge increased your clarity. Every setback sharpened your edges. Every hardship turned you from ordinary into rare. People don't see it yet, but you are becoming something priceless because you survived what should have broken you. Think about someone training for a marathon. For months, they wake up early, run in the cold, run when their legs burn, run when they don't feel like moving, no applause, no audience, just discipline and discomfort. Then race day comes, and suddenly the world sees the result of every unseen effort. That is how your blessing is going to appear. People will call it luck, but you will know it was the months, maybe years of silent endurance that brought you to that moment. You paid for your victory with discipline, tears, and patience. Even in faith, waiting is a teacher. You pray for strength, and life gives you battles. You pray for courage, and life gives you fears to overcome. You pray for wisdom, and life gives you decisions that test your values. You pray for growth, and life gives you discomfort that stretches your soul. At first, it feels unfair, but later you understand you were being given the tools to handle what you asked for. So when you feel stuck, when you feel delayed, when you feel forgotten, remember this: your waiting season is not empty. It's construction. It's preparation. It's alignment. Everything you endured is shaping the person who will walk confidently into the blessing that is meant for them. Life is preparing you behind the scenes for a moment that will make you say, now I understand why I had to wait. Your blessing has a date, and November 7 is aligned with your breakthrough. There are moments in life when everything feels delayed, uncertain, or completely out of your hands, yet something inside you refuses to give up. That quiet force, that stubborn hope, that whisper that says, hold on. Something is coming is not your imagination. It is your spirit sensing alignment before your eyes can see it. Life does not always reveal its timing, but it always honors it. And when the date of your blessing arrives, nothing, not doubt, not delay, not fear, not people, can stop what has been written for you. November 7 is not just a day on the calendar. It is a day when your waiting and your destiny finally meet each other. Think of an airplane waiting on the runway. You may sit for 30 minutes, an hour, sometimes longer. People get frustrated, restless, annoyed. But the pilot says, we must wait for clearance. Why? Because the skies must be safe, the air must be clear, the path must be open. The delay is not denial, it is protection. When the tower finally says you are cleared for takeoff, the same plane that sat still suddenly rises above the clouds. Your November 7 is that clearance moment, the time when the skies open, the time when your path becomes clear, the time when what felt stuck suddenly lifts, what felt delayed suddenly accelerates, what felt impossible suddenly becomes your new reality. Think about pregnancy. A mother carries a baby for 9 months. She feels discomfort, pain, cravings, exhaustion. Sometimes she feels excited, sometimes terrified. But no matter how impatient she becomes, the baby cannot come before its appointed time. If it comes too early, it may not survive. If it comes too late, complications arise, the date matters, the timing protects, the waiting creates life. When the due date arrives, the world introduces a miracle that could not exist a moment earlier. Your breakthrough is the same. It has a due date. And November 7 is the moment when what has been growing in the dark finally comes into the light. You may have carried pain, lessons, heartbreak, patience, prayers, silence, but it was all preparing something that needed time to develop. Think of a farmer planting seeds. Weeks pass and nothing breaks the soil. If you didn't know the process, you would think the field is barren, but the farmer knows better. Beneath the surface, life is forming. Roots are strengthening. The seed is preparing its rise. The harvest does not appear when you want it. It appears when it is ready, and not a single day earlier. Your November 7 is your harvest day, the day when the seed you planted with faith, tears, endurance, and hope finally grows tall enough for the world to see. Think about banking. When you deposit money, the bank often puts some of it on hold. You can see the balance, but you cannot touch it. Not yet. The system needs time to verify, align, confirm. Then on a specific date, the funds are released. Suddenly, the money that was always yours becomes accessible. This is how blessings work. They are already yours. They are just on hold. Life is aligning the details, arranging the right people, preparing the right circumstances, removing the wrong ones. And then, on the appointed day, what was restricted becomes release. November 7 is that release. The moment your spiritual funds become available in your physical life. Think of someone stuck in traffic. They get frustrated because the line isn't moving. They start doubting whether they will ever reach their destination. But far ahead, you can't see the road crews clearing debris, fixing a broken light, or removing an obstacle. When the work is done, suddenly the road opens. The delay was happening for your safety, even though you could not see it. Your November 7 is the moment the road clears, the moment the blockage is removed, the moment momentum returns. Think about healing. Sometimes you get sick and the medicine does not work instantly. You feel the same for a few hours, sometimes days. But deep inside, your body is fighting, repairing, rebuilding. Just because you don't feel the healing doesn't mean it isn't happening. Then one morning you wake up, breathe easier, feel stronger, and realize the recovery has arrived. Your November 7 is that morning, the moment when inner healing becomes outer change. Even in relationships, timing is everything. Someone may leave your life and you feel abandoned, confused, or unworthy, but later someone enters who respects you differently, listens to you attentively, values your soul, understands your heart. That moment makes you realize the person you wanted was blocking the person you needed. The heartbreak was clearing space. The loneliness was redirecting your path. The timing was aligning your heart with someone who truly deserves it. November 7 is that moment of alignment. The moment when what is meant for you reaches you without obstacles or confusion. Think of a student waiting for exam results. The days feel long. Every minute feels like an hour. The mind is full of doubt, fear, what-if questions. But the result already exists. You just haven't seen it yet. The outcome is printed, sealed, filed, ready. It is waiting to be revealed on a specific date. Blessings work the same way. Your outcome is already written. Your breakthrough is already prepared. Your blessing is already complete. You just haven't reached the release date yet. And November 7 is that reveal. The moment where what has been written becomes visible. Even sunrise has an exact time. You can be standing outside in complete darkness thinking, will it ever get brighter? But without fail, at a precise minute, the sun rises. Even the universe keeps appointments. Your life does too. November 7 is sunrise, the moment the darkness fades, the moment light finally reaches you, the moment you realize the night did not win. Your blessing has a date, and November 7 is aligned with your breakthrough. Good news comes to those who walk in faith even when they cannot see. Faith is not a feeling. It is a decision you make when everything around you tells you to give up. It is choosing to trust the path, even when the road is dark. It is believing something beautiful is being built for you, even if you can't see a single sign of it yet. Faith is closing your eyes and still moving forward. Faith is hearing silence from the universe and still whispering, I know something good is coming. And often the moment you are closest to your breakthrough is the moment that looks the most hopeless. Not because you're failing, but because you're transitioning from what you were into what you're meant to be. Think about someone standing in the middle of a foggy road. They can only see a few feet ahead. Everything beyond that is covered in thick mist. If they stop walking, they will remain stuck. But if they take one step, then another, the road reveals itself little by little. Faith works exactly like that. You may not see the whole path, but if you keep moving, it unfolds. The fog clears with action. The road appears with courage. The destination becomes visible only when you dare to go forward, even though it feels uncertain. Think about a person ordering a package online. After placing the order, they don't sit in fear wondering, will it arrive? Will the delivery person get lost? Will something go wrong? No, they trust the system. They go on with their day. They don't see the package. They don't see the courier. They don't see the journey, but they believe it's coming. They trust the unseen process because they know they placed the order. Faith is like that. When you pray, when you hope, when you manifest, when you declare something over your life, you have placed the order. You may not see the movement, but the delivery is already in progress. Just because your blessing isn't at your doorstep yet doesn't mean it's not on the way. Think about a person planting a mango seed. For weeks, nothing breaks the soil. If they judge the seed by what they see on the surface, they will think nothing is happening. But beneath the dirt, roots are forming, strength is building, life is expanding. If they dig it up too early, they will destroy the miracle in progress. Faith means trusting the soil even when there is no sign of growth. Faith means believing in your harvest. even when your field looks empty. Think about someone learning to swim. In the beginning, the water feels frightening. Their feet can't touch the ground. Their body feels unstable. Their heartbeat races. But the instructor tells them, trust the water. It will hold you. And when they finally relax, when they stop fighting, the water lifts them. Faith works the same way. When you stop panicking, when you stop doubting, when you stop struggling against every fear, life begins to support you. You begin to float where you once sank. Think about a phone charging. When it is plugged in, the screen shows progress, but only after some time. Before that, it looks dead, lifeless, unresponsive. But the energy is flowing, power is moving, change is happening behind the scenes. Your life is like that too. Sometimes you feel drained, out of strength, out of hope. You think nothing is improving, but faith plugs you back into purpose. Faith reconnects you to energy. Faith activates what feels dead. Even when you don't see the glow yet, the charge is happening. Think about someone stuck in a traffic jam. The road is completely blocked. No movement, no progress. Minutes feel like hours. You feel like you're going nowhere. But a few miles ahead, you can't see workers clearing the road. You can't see the police directing cars. You can't see the accident being removed. You think you're stuck, but the road is being prepared. Good news works the same way. You may not see the clearing, but it's happening. You may not see the shift, but it's happening. Faith keeps you steady until the road opens. Think about a student who studies late at night. The world sleeps while they stay awake. Their eyes burn, their head aches, their mind is tired. They don't know what the result will be. They don't know if the exam will go well. They don't know if their effort will pay off. But they study anyway, they push anyway. They prepare without seeing the outcome. That is faith. Doing the work without knowing the rewards. Sowing the seeds without seeing the harvest. Trusting that effort has direction, even when the results are invisible. Think about a person praying for healing. They pray and cry and hope, but their body doesn't change instantly. Healing doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it works quietly, silently, microscopic progress happening inside organs, tissues, cells. The person may feel the same, but still be improving. Faith means believing the miracle has started even before you feel it. Faith means expecting recovery, even if the symptoms stay for a while. Faith means trusting the invisible process of restoration. Think about climbing a staircase in the dark. You can't see the top. You can't see how many steps are left. You can't see the landing. But you keep stepping, one step, one more. You trust that the stairway leads somewhere. That is what faith looks like. Still climbing without seeing the end. Still rising without needing the full picture. Still moving even when doubt whispers stop. Good news comes to those who move like something is coming. Pray like something is shifting, believe like something is aligning, and walk like the blessing is already written. Because faith is the bridge between the invisible and the visible. Good news comes to those who walk in faith even when they cannot see. Faith is the courage to step forward while your eyes are still filled with uncertainty. It is the strength of believing in a sunrise even when your night feels endless. It is the fire inside you whispering, keep going. Something beautiful is coming, even when every circumstance around you tries to convince you otherwise. Faith is not about seeing the path clearly. It is about trusting that the path exists. It is about hearing silence and still choosing hope. It is about walking into the unknown with confidence because your spirit knows something your eyes cannot yet witness. Think of someone walking into a dark room. At first they see nothing. Everything looks empty, but their hands know where the switch is. They reach out, trusting what they remember, trusting what they cannot see. And with a single click, the whole room lights up. That moment is faith, acting before you see the results, moving before the clarity arrives, trusting that your small steps will turn into something bright. Good news comes when you dare to reach for the switch, even in darkness. Think of a train traveling through a long tunnel. Inside the tunnel, it feels like night. You look out and see nothing but black walls rushing past. But the train doesn't stop. It doesn't panic. It keeps moving because the journey is not defined by the tunnel. It is defined by the destination beyond it. When the train emerges, the most beautiful landscape appears. Sunlight, open fields, wide horizons. Faith is staying on the train, even when the tunnel feels endless. Faith is trusting the movement even when the view looks hopeless, and your good news is waiting at the exit of your tunnel. Think of someone saving money. Day after day, they put aside small amounts. Maybe it's a little, maybe it feels insignificant, but they keep going, they keep believing, they keep saving without seeing the final number. Then one day they check the balance and it's enough to change their situation. Their tiny unseen efforts built something powerful. That is faith. Doing the work when there is no applause, no celebration, no proof, believing that every small step matters, trusting that consistency creates miracles. Good news arrives for those who stay committed even when nobody claps for them. Think of a butterfly. Before it becomes beautiful, it is trapped inside a cocoon, a dark, tight place with no indication of wings or freedom. The creature inside cannot see the transformation happening. It does not know what it's becoming. It only trusts the process. It only survives the waiting. And then, in the perfect moment, the cocoon cracks open, something fragile emerges, and suddenly it flies. That is what faith looks like. Trusting the darkness that is developing your wings, trusting the tight places that are strengthening your spirit. Good news arrives when the cocoon opens, not a minute earlier. Think of someone recovering from heartbreak. They cry at night, they question life, they wonder if they will ever smile again. Healing feels invisible. It feels slow. It feels like nothing is changing. But one day, they wake up and feel lighter. One afternoon, they laugh without forcing it. One moment, they look in the mirror and recognize their strength. Healing was happening all along, even though they couldn't see it. Faith is believing. Your heart is growing, even when it still hurts. Faith is trusting that life will return color to your days, even if today feels gray. Good news arrives in the form of peace that slowly rebuilds you. Think of a person waiting for exam results. They studied, they prepared, they sacrificed. After the test, they wait in uncertainty. They cannot see the score. They cannot know the outcome. Yet they believe that their effort will bring a good result. They hope even though the result is hidden. That is faith. Preparing without knowing, giving your best without seeing the reward instantly. Good news arrives for those who trust the unseen process of their effort. Think of a doctor treating a patient. They give medicine, but the cure doesn't show up immediately. The body heals in silence. Cells repair themselves without fanfare. The patient may feel the same for days, but inside, a miracle is happening. Faith is believing that progress exists even when it is too small to feel. Faith is trusting that your situation is improving, even when your emotions tell you otherwise. Good news arrives quietly, then suddenly becomes visible. Think of a person standing at the shore looking at the waves. They throw a stone into the ocean. The stone disappears instantly. It sinks beneath the surface, but beneath the water, it causes ripples they cannot see. Their action created movement, even though their eyes witnessed nothing. That is faith, believing your prayers, your efforts, your energy, your intentions are creating ripples, even when you see no evidence. Good news arrives when those ripples finally reach the shore of your life. Think of driving at night. Your headlights only show a small part of the road. You cannot see the whole journey, yet you trust that the road continues. You trust that each next few feet will reveal themselves. You trust that moving forward is better than stopping. That is faith, moving even with limited visibility, walking even when the path is dim, trusting that progress will reveal itself only as you take the next step. Good news arrives for those who keep moving even in darkness. Good news comes to those who walk in faith even when they cannot see, those who trust the process, the season, the silence in themselves. You are closer to your turning point than you've ever been. It may not look like it. It may not feel like it. Your life might even seem messy, confusing, or painfully still right now. But sometimes the moment right before everything changes looks exactly like nothing is happening. That silent, heavy pause is not the end of your story. It is the moment the universe inhales before it exhales a blessing into your life. You may think you are stuck, but you are actually standing on the border of transformation. The ground beneath you is shifting, aligning, preparing. One more step, one more day, one more breath. and you will feel everything turn. Think about a person digging for water. They dig 1 foot, 2 feet, 5 feet, 10 feet, still nothing. Sweat drips, hands ache, and doubt whispers, maybe water isn't here. But often the water waits at the 13th or 14th foot. One more strike of the shovel, one more moment of endurance. They were inches away from breakthrough without knowing it. You may be in that same place. You think you are far, but you are only inches away. Your effort has not been wasted. Your digging is not in vain. You are closer than your exhaustion tells you. Think of a phone battery stuck at 1%. It looks weak, fragile, on the edge of shutting down. But that 1% still brings light. It still makes calls. It still sends messages. That tiny percentage still carries power. You may feel like you are running on emotional 1%, but that 1% is enough to get you to your turning point. The strength you think is small is actually huge. The patience you think is thin is actually enough. That last bit of energy you haven't lost. That is the final thread pulling you into the life that is waiting for you. Think about someone waiting for dawn. At 4 a.m., the world still looks dark. If you didn't know better, you would think it's midnight. But the truth is, the darkest hour is always the one right before sunrise. The moment darkness feels the heaviest is exactly when light is closest. If your life feels heavy right now, if your heart feels stretched, if your mind feels overwhelmed, don't mistake it for defeat. That is sunrise energy. That is breakthrough approaching. You are moments away from the glow that will reveal everything you've been fighting for. Think about a student studying for an exam. They go through chapters, notes, books, nights without sleep. They reach a point where they're tired, drained, and ready to quit. But the moment they feel most overwhelmed is the moment they've learned the most. It is the peak of their preparation. You don't feel pressure because you're failing. You feel pressure because you're leveling up. Your turning point is not far away. It is forming inside your growth, your resilience, your endurance. You are becoming ready for what you prayed for. Think of a person cooking rice. They put the pot on the stove, cover it, and wait. For several minutes, nothing seems to happen. The water looks still. The surface shows no bubbles. If you're impatient, you might think it's not cooking. But inside the pot, heat is rising, molecules are moving, transformation is happening silently. Then suddenly, at the perfect moment, the water boils and the rice expands. Your life is that pot. Your growth is heating. Your destiny is rising. Your breakthrough is building beneath the lid of silence. Just because you don't see the bubbles yet doesn't mean the heat isn't working. Think of someone stuck on a mountain hike. Their legs hurt, their breath is short, and they want to quit. They think they have miles left to climb, but then a stranger passes and says, "You're almost at the top." They were closer than they believed. The exhaustion made the distance look longer. Your fatigue is playing tricks on your mind. Your struggle is whispering lies. But the truth is, the view is just ahead. The peak you have been climbing toward, emotionally, spiritually, financially, personally, is closer than you think. Think of a chick inside an egg. For days it pecks at the shell. Every peck is tiny. Every peck looks insignificant. But every peck weakens the shell. Even when there is no visible crack, the shell is thinning. Then one day, the entire egg breaks open. It wasn't that the chick suddenly got stronger. It was that every invisible effort added up until the breakthrough was inevitable. Your daily struggles, your small steps, your silent battles, they are thinning the shell around your breakthrough. One more push, one more decision, one more act of faith, and your new life will burst open. Think about someone trying to push a heavy object. For the first few seconds, it doesn't move. They push harder. It still doesn't move. They push again, sweating, straining, doubting. But the moment they reach the exact level of pressure needed, it shifts. Once it moves the first inch, the rest becomes easier. The resistance decreases. Momentum takes over. You have been applying pressure to the locked areas of your life, your dreams, your habits, your relationships, your goals. It may feel like nothing is moving, but you are building momentum. Breakthroughs often begin with invisible motion. The shift happens internally before it shows up externally. Think of a match. When you strike it, nothing happens for a split second. But that moment of silence isn't failure. It's friction creating fire. You might think you are going through useless friction right now, but that friction is preparing your flame. Your turning point is the spark waiting at the end of all your resistance. You are closer to your turning point than you've ever been. The universe hears the prayers you whisper in silence, the quiet ones, the ones you speak with trembling lips, the ones that never leave your bedroom walls, the ones you cry into your pillow because you don't want anyone to hear the fear in your voice, the ones you say in your heart while walking home, staring at the sky or clutching your chest hoping for relief. Those prayers, the ones you think go unnoticed, are the ones the universe listens to the most because they come from truth, from vulnerability, from the deepest part of your soul, and the universe responds to honesty far louder than it responds to noise. Every silent prayer you have ever whispered has traveled farther than you know. Think of a mother watching her child sleep. The child whispers something in their dream. Soft, unclear, fragile. The world doesn't hear it, but the mother does. Her ears are tuned to that child's voice. She responds to every small movement, every little sigh, every tiny shift of breath. That is how the universe listens to you. Your loudest words are not the ones you speak. Your loudest words are the ones your soul whispers. When the world is quiet, the universe catches all of them. Think about Wi-Fi. You don't see it. You don't hear it. You can't touch it. But when you connect your device, suddenly messages come through. Calls happen, information flows. You send one small signal and it travels instantly, invisibly, across distance. Your prayers work the same way. They travel beyond your room, beyond your worry, beyond your pain. They reach places your eyes cannot imagine. Your whisper is a broadcast signal. The universe tunes into it even when you think you are disconnected. Think of someone sitting near a window during a storm. Rain falls loudly. Thunder shakes the sky. The world feels chaotic. Yet if they listen closely, they can hear a single drop hitting the glass, the softest sound in the loudest storm. That is how the universe hears you, even when your life feels loud with problems, noise, responsibilities, and confusion. Your soft prayers still cut through the storm. The chaos does not drown out your voice. Your whisper stands out. Think about seeds planted deep underground. No one sees them. No one knows what they're doing. Days go by, weeks pass, still nothing breaks the soil. But beneath the earth, the seed is calling out for sunlight and water. Not in words, but in growth. That growth is a prayer the universe hears. Then one day, the soil splits. The sprout rises. The quiet request for life is answered. Your prayers in silence work the same way. They are seeds. They grow before you ever see the result. Your request is pushing upward even now. Think of someone standing in front of a locked door with a key. They put the key in, turn it, and hear the faintest click. That quiet click means the door is about to open. That click is the response. Sometimes we want the universe to reply with fireworks, signs, symbols, and loud confirmations. But often, the answer comes in small shifts. A little peace in your heart, a person entering or exiting your life, a thought that brings clarity, a situation that pushes you in a new direction. Those small clicks are the universe unlocking something for you. Think about a child learning to ride a bicycle. At first, they wobble, stumble, and fall, but each time they fall, they whisper, "Please let me get it this time." It is not a loud prayer. It is a hopeful one. And then suddenly, balance, success, movement. Their whisper was heard in the form of strength in their legs, courage in their chest, and confidence in their hands. When you whisper for courage, the universe strengthens your spirit. When you whisper for clarity, the universe shifts your thoughts. When you whisper for help, the universe aligns people to support you. Think of someone writing a letter and putting it into a mailbox. Once they let go of the letter, they can't see where it goes. They can't follow it. They can't track every step. But they trust it will reach the destination. Your whispered prayers are letters. Once you release them into the universe, they start traveling. You may not see the route. You may not see the process, but they are in motion. And one day, the answer arrives back to you sealed with timing, alignment, and grace. Think about radio waves. When you tune the radio to the right frequency, suddenly music appears. The waves were already there. You just needed the right connection. Your prayers create that connection. They tune your life to a frequency where blessings can reach you. When you speak to the universe with sincerity, your energy shifts, your mindset shifts, your actions shift, and suddenly you attract what you asked for, not because you begged for it, but because you aligned with it. Think of someone crying quietly at night. No noise, just tears sliding down their face. They don't speak a word, but that emotion, that release, that ache, it is a prayer, a request for healing, a request for strength, a request for renewal. And the universe always answers those prayers, sometimes by giving rest, sometimes by giving clarity, sometimes by removing what drains you, sometimes by sending someone who sees you. Think of the ocean. When the tide pulls back, the shore looks empty. People think the water is retreating, but the truth is the water is gathering force. When it returns stronger, fuller, brighter. Sometimes when your prayers seem unanswered, it is not because they are ignored. It is because the blessing is gathering strength. The tide is pulling back so it can come back bigger. The universe hears the prayers you whisper in silence. Every tear, every plea, every wish, every wordless moment of hope, none of it is lost. All of it is heard. And now, as you stand here, listening, breathing, absorbing every truth spoken into your spirit tonight, I want you to understand something with unshakable certainty. Your life is not standing still. Your life is rising. Every silent battle you fought, every tear you wiped alone, every prayer you whispered in the dark has brought you to this exact moment. You are not at the end. You are standing on the edge of your becoming. The world has not seen your best yet. Life has not given you its sweetest chapter yet. Your story is still unfolding, and the next page carries a glow your past could never dim. You have walked through storms that were designed to break weaker souls, yet here you are, still breathing, still believing, still rebuilding. That is not weakness. That is not luck. That is power. That is destiny. That is the fire inside you refusing to die. There is a greatness inside you that even pain could not crush, even disappointment could not steal, even heartbreak could not silence. You have survived too much to doubt your rise now, because hear me clearly, Chant, the universe is not finished with you. Life still has blessings with your name carved into them. Doors you haven't knocked on yet are preparing to swing open. Paths you haven't walked yet are clearing ahead of you. Opportunities you didn't dare imagine are making their way toward you. And when they arrive, you will look back at these heavy days and say, every struggle was a stepping stone. Every delay was direction. Every setback was a setup. You are entering a season where the things that once drained you will no longer have access to your peace, where the people who overlooked you will wish they had supported you, where the moments that once broke you will become the stories that strengthen you. You are becoming the version of yourself that your younger self used to pray for. You are stepping into the life that once felt impossible. You are aligning with a future that is brighter than everything you've survived. And let this truth sink into your bones. And you are not behind. You are not late. You are right on time. Every pause was preparation. Every delay was divine protection. Every closed door was life saying, not this. Something better. What is meant for you has never been lost. It has only been waiting for your strength to catch up to your destiny. And now, your strength is here, your readiness is here, your moment is here, so stand tall, lift your chin, straighten your back, walk like someone who knows the universe is rearranging itself in your favor. Speak like someone who believes their words carry power. Move like someone who knows their footsteps are guided. Rise like someone who knows their breakthrough is already written. Because it is, remember these words as you step into the next chapter of your life. You survive the darkness. Now watch how brightly you shine. As coming is bigger than what you lost. Your blessings are running toward you with greater speed than your fears. You didn't come this far to break. You came this far to rise. Your name is being spoken in rooms you haven't entered yet. Your story is about to shift, and every person who doubted you will witness it. Let the world underestimate you. Let the past doubt you. Let the noise distract you. But do not, under any circumstances, underestimate yourself. You were built for this moment. You were shaped by fire, strengthened by storms, refined by silence, and guided by unseen hands. Something incredible is unfolding for you, and deep down, you can feel it. So step forward with courage. Step forward with faith. Step forward with the unshakable belief that life is about to surprise you in the most beautiful way. Your time is not coming. Your time has arrived.